Moto2 gets underway here at the wonderful circuit of Misano. Welcome to round 14 of the calendar. Let's take a look at how they line up on the starting grid then. Aaron Canet on pole from Joe Roberts and Tony Arbolino on your front row. Then it's Vietti, Dixon and Aldeguer. Ayagura 7th from Van der Gerberg and Foggia. Then it's Ramirez, Senaigas and Philip Salak taking 12th. Garcia ahead of Arenas and Gonzalez are 13th, 14th and 15th. Barry Boltis, Alonso Lopez, Sonkat Chancha rounds out in 18. 19 on the grid down. That takes us with Darren Binder from Juan Masia, Amul Sasaki, Jeremy Alcoba and Aizan Guevara. Monrella has withdrawn due to abdominal pain and he will not be in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Matteo Ferrari, Mario Aggi, Dennis Onchu, Alex Esque, Daniel Munoz, Javier Carglass, Javier Artegas at the back. Moto2 is underway then here for what should be an exciting round of the championship. Fingers crossed it's going to be a good one. Let's join our TNT team to get all the latest.
Simply quick. Yeah, when you look into the timesheets throughout the sessions, Tony's always knocking in a good rhythm, whether the tyre's got 10 laps, 15 laps. He seems like he's got good pace no matter the condition. I do think Aaron Canet has the outright pace to maybe make a little break in the early laps because he's got 2/10 maybe advantage, but it's so difficult in Moto2 to get away. So I think Arbolino, perfectly positioned down the inside into turn one, has always started good. So yeah, you think Tony's going to take the lead in the early laps and he'll control the race. He won't let Canet make a break.
And then you've got Celestino Vietti in fourth. He was just 0.037. That's less than 400ths of a second. Then he starts on the second row. That's what covered Joe Roberts, Tony Arbolino and Aaron Canet on that front row. Vietti is the only rider with a different tyre. He's gone with the original soft rear Pirelli, everyone else with the development soft rear that was successful last time. And all this, Michael, we talk about Canet, Arbolino, Vietti. We don't mention Joe Roberts, but he's looked good all weekend, much better than 2 weeks ago. Jake Dixon has looked good. Fermin Aldeguer's there, and then you've got this man, Ayagura, heading up row 3, who dominated last time we were here.
Yeah, Ayagura, never the best qualifier, but always comes forward in the race. So you don't look at an eye from the early laps, you look at him from half race distance on, and you know he's going to have tyre, he's going to have pace in the latter laps of this race. So yeah, you do not rule Ayagura out of a race victory today.
This is a pin stickers race, this, isn't it? It's like the Grand National. I have no idea who's going to win it heading into it. It's so many people with pace, but have they got it in the late race like the likes of Agura and Dixon will do? We're going to find out. Thankfully,
we are indeed going to find out. We're ready to go then here for the Moto2 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Let's get ready to kick up the storm here. Hopefully it's going to be a good race. Moto2 always delivers in this circuit. Green flag at the back. It's eyes to the lights. 22 laps ahead of us. Aaron Canet on pole position. Ready to go now. Good start from Aaron Canet. Not a great getaway at all from the 18 down towards turn 1 into the second position. Tony Arbolino, and Tony Arbolino takes the lead of the race. Aaron Canet still down in second. Giustino Vietti takes second position. Canet did not get the best launch that he wanted to as they rise uphill now into the braking zone. It's looking good so far. Arbolino leads, Vietti second, Aaron Canet third, Ayagura is in fourth, Fermin Aldeguer, Joe Roberts, Jake Dixon down to 7th after starting 5th. Ramirez, Zonta van der Gerberg, Foggia has your top 10 as we ride into the braking zone for turn 8. So they're all going to try and filter out for positions here. Remember, Pirelli tyre data is available for this race. They've raced here 2 weeks ago. They know what the score is. They know what the deal is, and we'll see that happen throughout this event as well. Just changing between them all as we get through. Aizan Guevara getting ahead of Manuel Gonzalez. Good start from everyone so far as they rule down. The flies still out after all the eggs have hatched as well. 2 days of rainstorm, first day of sun. Bingo comes the flies. Under braking, binned up to 16th, passing Gonzalez. And Albert Arenas down to 22nd position. Unsure whether or not if he's crashed or not. Arbolino leads by 0.6 of a second. Vietti moving up the field as well. They'll all try and find correct delta times. Arenas did drop down though from where, well, 16th down. Lap 1 complete. Arbolino, a comfortable lead then. Aaron Canet down to 3rd, but he had a terrible start. Terrible start. Philip Salat moving back as well, so many positions. Let's check in with TNT on the start.
Tony Arbolino, knowing that he had the pace all the way to the end of the race a fortnight ago, you don't want to give him a almost 1 second gap on lap 1 because he sometimes drops a little after the first flourish of laps. He always can really push on from the lights out. But yeah, he's got a nice comfortable margin at the moment. And Celestino Vietti, he's had good pace over the weekend, but not a pace that would match either Aaron Canet or Tony Arbolino.
But from Agura's point of view, all those in 3 in front of him, he probably won't consider them as title hopefuls. His main challenger, Sergio Garcia, is in 13th place. He just got Alonso Lopez on that previous lap and dropped a couple of spots. Lopez is one of the best starters he's made. He was from 17th up to 11th. It's going to be intriguing how this race develops, how the Boscoscuro manages, because it felt like all weekend, Michael, the Calexes of all that bank of data that they've got with all the bikes they have out on track, they've just made a step forward. Yeah,
I was speaking to Dennis Foggia last night. He was saying everyone's sharing the data. There's some channels that aren't open, but it has worked in Calex's favour. A bit of data sharing allowed them to actually adjust the chassis balance.
Zonta van der Berg has gone down. Zonta's must have crashed. We're waiting for seeing information from the stewards, but Zonta has shunted down. Yeah, he's gone down. Oh, that's a shame. I hope it's not a bad one. We'll wait to see. Yellow flags around sector 4, so presumably he's dropped it at turn 14. Arbolino does a 135.5, then it's Vietti 135.479. Zonta van der Gerberg has crashed at turn 14, so it looks like the front's dipped away from him on the inside line. Hopefully that shouldn't be too big of an accident. It should be able to continue quite nicely. Yes, he's up and running away, trying to get the bike restarted as well with the stewards. Arbolino leads them for Vietti and Canet. They're going to stay together. Arbolino needs to get the advantage at the front. Championship as it stands then. This is the running order that we need to keep an eye on because it is going to change quite dramatically. If the computer will change it for me, it's not going to. It's having a paddy. So, yeah, we can't change that just yet, probably because it's doing on the computer. Canet right at the back there, Vietti.
Wersha on the onboard camera with the looking back at a study of Aaron Canet, who's he's definitely got the pace to bridge the gap.
Canet has looked, along with Arbolino, they've been the two, haven't they? All weekend have looked the fastest. And coming into this race, you think, yeah. But there are question marks over longevity. Tony Arbolino has just struggled to keep the Pirellis under him, and Aaron Canet similarly. He's managed it. Of course, he did that in Portimao earlier this year, but a couple of times already he's been beaten to the line, including by Agura a couple of weeks ago. And Agura sits in his wake.
This looks like another good lap from Celestino Vietti. He's only going to take out a 10th of a lap, but it's enough.
Ooh. Tony Arbolino just had to fight, didn't he, to keep that away from the green. And that, I think, has just helped Vietti get that little bit closer. What's he taken? Yeah, a couple of tenths on that occasion. Behind, Agura, Aldeguer, Roberts and Dixon, all with personal best laps. It's a race of judgment at this stage, Michael.
Yeah.
How much you push.
All the way back to Senna Aegis. He's had a great start, actually, in 9th place. The Husqvarna rider at Intact GP's under the weather a little bit this weekend. Yeah. He's another rider with the Lurgy, but he's, yeah, feeling strong. He said a little bit under the weather, but still, pace-wise has been good throughout the weekend.
The Lurgy, yeah. Reminded me of school, that did. Talking about that, but yeah, did a few people a little bit poorly. Not great when you're about to go on the road for the next 6 weeks or so. Arbolino leads then. The gap up to about 0.6 of a second. Vietti behind with Canet keeping pace. And then they're all just spread out ever so slightly as we find Garcia. Now, we know Garcia can be like this, but what we do know is he will come strong as the race goes on. The question mark is over his physical fitness, Michael. As we saw a couple of weeks ago, he was having to push through the pain barrier. He said it feels better, but still he will be feeling it.
Yeah, for sure. It's not going to be a miraculous recovery in just a 2-week period, so he's going to be a little bit weaker. And obviously, as the race goes on, it begins to fatigue, and then you have to compensate and work other muscles to to pretty much make up for the deficit whenever you don't have your strength in your shoulders. You do so much in terms of the braking and direction change through your upper body, through your shoulders. So yeah, it's not going to be any easier this weekend as the race goes on. 22 laps around here is quite a tough challenge.
Look at that lap from Celestino Vietti, Michael. A 1:35.468 from Cele Vietti, and that is, for the new race lap record, 6/10 quicker than Alonso Lopez was 2 weeks ago, which shows how conditions are one thing, conditions are different.
Oh, Dennis Onchu's crashed. Onchu's crashed out of the race. So that's changed out. That's a shame for Dennis. Diego Manuela's come back, hasn't started. Otto van der Gubberg still, he's restarted his bike. But yeah, there is Dennis Onchu out of the race then. And that's in sector 2. And I think Juan Macia's gone down by judging how he's dropped the bike. Yeah, Macia's crashed. So another retirement in this race. Juan Macia has crashed. It's getting from bad to worse in this one. Can't seem to have the right running order here. Turn 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 comes back before 5 and 6. So yeah, it's a right-hander that he's gone down at. Every time I look at the screen now, I'm just thinking who's gone down, who hasn't. Lap 5 of 22. Arbolino leading by 4/10 to Vietti and Canet, still holding together on the circuit. A real interesting battle developing here in Moto2.
Wouldn't doubt any less. Just if Vietti's making inroads, I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah.
It's not always we can say that about Aaron Canet, though, is it?
No. He always, in the past, has struggled to judge the race distance. Better in Moto3, but also struggled to become a consistent winner there. Oh, we're hearing someone's down in our headsets.
Yeah.
It's 2. It's Jake Dixon and Sergio Garcia down in sector 1. Dixon and Garcia have gone down together, and that is crucial for the World Championship. That Sergio Garcia has had yet another terrible weekend, and that changes the championship completely with Igo up in 4th position. The gap now increases at the front, 22 points as it stands. And Sergio Garcia, who did such a remarkable recovery ride, is out, and Dixon has crashed out with him. I want to see a replay. Who took out who? Jake Dixon, the 2 championship protagonists, out on turn 1 and 2. Well, Moto2 certainly delivering the interest at the moment. 25 left in the race, everybody else having crashed out. Let's take a replay. So, we're on board with Sergio Garcia. He goes out, and he's going to cut his bike's going to come back across the track. And is he going to hit Jake Dixon? Well, no. How did Dixon crash? It seems like it's 2 separate incidents. I don't get that one. Is the oil down? Macia back out again. Oh, this is Dixon. Through 1 into 2. Dixon dropped on his own. Synchronized crashing. Garcia at 1. And Dixon at 2. I don't believe it. Synchronized accidents. Bigger surprise there.
Yeah, it's just skidded under on him.
First time Jake Dixon has not scored since France. That was the first 5 races of the year. Remember when he had 0 in all of them? He has scored every round since. He's had 5 podiums and 2 wins in the meantime, but that could be his title aspirations going away from him.
Yeah.
Sergio Garcia still will have options, no doubt about that. But this is huge, isn't it, as far as he's concerned, with his teammate there comfortably in 4th place as things stand, ready to pick up. And Joe Roberts also being told about Sergio Garcia being out of the race. But with Agura there in 4th, pick up a nice 13 points for that and extend your lead.
Yeah, well,
Agura, when you're in this position, obviously you get the signal that your closest championship rival has gone out. You want to see the start from Arbolino again. It wasn't fantastic. Tony goes a little bit to the right, but watch Canet comes across. They both pinch Joe Roberts off here. Unfortunately, Joe has to roll the gas a little bit. And look at Iagura and Celestino Vietti down the outside. They just have a clear path to turn 1. Oh, look at Iagura. That's what a lovely cutback in the middle of turn 1. He actually just cut it back in under Joe Roberts and Jake Dixon.
Yeah, it was great. Look at Agura right out there in the boondocks, and just watch him sweep through on the inside. Everyone's got deep into turn 1. And with the wider line, he was just able to carry that bit much more corner speed, pull to the inside, and that's made his race. Because at that moment, he's put Roberts behind him, and you just settle into a little bit of a rhythm there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Does he push on and try and get on the podium today, or does he see the signal on his dash now telling him that Jake Dixon's gone out? He previously had the one to tell him that Sergio Garcia is out, so championship-wise, it's okay. 13 points is a solid score in terms of the championship race, but he knows he's got late race pace, so I think he's just going to keep chipping away, hitting his markers, and yeah, it looks like he's still pushing on to me and try and get back on those steps of the podium today.
Tony Arbolino still leads the way with Celestino Vietti. Now he's going, oh, I'll tell you what, Ewing, front and rear there. Vietti, he's in second though. Third for Aaron Canet. Track limits warning for Aldeguer. We've already had one long lap penalty coming up for Alex Scrooge for exceeding track limits, so something to keep an eye on. So in Ayagura there in fourth place. Sergio Garcia is 9 behind him. He's crashed out. Joe Roberts, who is next in the championship, he's running 6th at this stage, so he's behind him. Alonso Lopez down in 9th. He's joined with Roberts in the championship. And then Jake Dixon, who's 5th, is also out of the race. So it's a huge day if Agura can just keep it on 2 wheels. He won here 2 weeks ago, I'll remind you. And he's not out of this race yet.
No, he's still within touching distance, so yeah, you can see the trio in front. If they get into a little bit of a battle, take a little bit of time out of each other and some overtakes, then all of a sudden Agura could get back within striking distance.
We felt this morning, didn't we, Michael, when we were talking here in the commentary box, that this was a crucial race as regards the championship, and so it is proving already. We're not even at half race distance in this one of 22. It just felt like it, didn't it, with the run of races we've got coming up, that this was a statement time with 9 between them, so many riders still in the hunt. But when we go to Indonesia next, only 6 remaining, and this man will be, well, he'll be at least 9 points behind Ayagura.
Yeah, tough day at the office for Sergio Garcia. Tough fortnight, really. It's been a bit of a struggle for him, and obviously throwing away points when he seemed to be getting things steadied up. Yesterday he looked good in practice and in qualifying, but yeah, unfortunately, it's just been
temperatures rising.
Of late, he's not had the comfortable pace that he had in the early rounds of the season, so he's going to have to dig deep in the flyaway events and keep himself in championship contention.
Yeah, temperatures rising out here at the moment. Let's do a quick rundown, a 1 to 10. Well, 1 to whoever's left in this race. Arbolino leads by 2/10 to Vietti, and then the whole leader group separated by 6/10 of a second with Aaron Canet in 3rd position. Then it's Ayagura as well. Then it's Aldeguer from Roberts. Senna Igus up to 7th. Ramirez is 8th. Lopez 9th. Gonzalez 10th. Foggi is 11th. Salak 12th. Binders 13th. Guevara 14th. Chantra 15th. Boltis 16th. Arcova 17th. Arenas 18th. Sasaki 19th. Ajit 20th. Ferrari's 21st. Munoz 22nd. Cardenas 24th. And 25th for Alex Escray as well. Don't know if I mentioned Javier Artegas in 23rd position. Zonta van der Gerberg is still out there, but not classified. He's saying 2 laps down on the monitor, but he should be able to still get that race distance in, so he should be classified inside the 90%. Alex Escray with that track limits penalty, he completed that a few moments ago as well, so he's still going up and up and up on the order, trying to find the stratosphere almost in this run. I wouldn't blame him personally, as they'll fight back. Arbolino, Vietti and Canet, they are your running orders here as this amazing race continues to pull on at the front. Aaron Canet leads, Aaron Canet 3rd with Ayagura 4th. This is the battle for the last podium spot. I think Ayagura 1.6 back. He's slowly starting to come into the mix on the front here, as you see Vietti by 2/10 of a second. Remember, they've got tyre data for this race. They didn't usually. So they know exactly how the Pirelli tyres are going to muster over the race. So they're just going to wait until they know that they can go to be safe. And plus, they've had all the practice sessions. And doing a double race, this second race becomes an easy one for them because they just don't have to crash. They know all the data for everything else. So it's an incredibly punch-hard race. And now, Aaron Canet has closed up massively on this lap. So has Giustino Vietti. The top 3 are separated by 4.5 of a second as they come down in towards turn 1. It is punch time, and it is go time. And that's exactly what we like to see. Back to CMT.
You do feel, even though they are running lap record pace. I mean, last week, as I say, the fastest lap of the race was a 1:36. Every single lap has been under the 1:36 bracket so far. So they're running a really hot pace compared to a couple of weeks ago. A couple of reasons for that, Michael. They've been here already.
Yeah.
And the other is the temperature. Yeah,
certainly the track temperature making a difference in how these Pirelli tyres are hooking up. But also an extra weekend's worth of data gathered, allowing them to try something different in terms of chassis setup, suspension, and just getting those little tweaks to your setup. And it seems to be working, especially for these Cal-X runners. It does seem like Ayagura just struggling somewhat to match the pace. He's dropping 2-3 tenths a lap, sometimes even more. So yeah, it does look like the Cal-X, for at least these three riders anyway, it's just working better than the Bosco-Oscuro around this Misano racetrack.
Down through the gears, down through the corners, down to turn 14 for number 14, Tony Arbolino leading the way from Celestino Vietti on the number 13, right behind him, and Aaron Canet on the 44 in third place. If you are just joining us, we are at the halfway point of the Grand Prix of Emilia-Romagna, 2 weeks on from the San Marino Grand Prix here at Misano, and Tony Arbolino leading, Vietti in second, Canet in third. We are talking about 10th, 9th and 8th in the championship who are leading this race, and the key part is championship leader Ayagura is in fourth. His nearest title rival, Sergio Garcia, has crashed out at the same time as Jake Dixon, who was 5th in the championship, but hoping to move up to third today because he was only 3 behind Roberts and Lopez, but he's crashed out. And that means, as far as Ayagura is concerned, he'll be making ground in the championship here today.
Exactly what his target was when he set out here this weekend. Keep extending the points lead. Obviously he wants to win, but you have to accept 4th place when that's all that's on offer. Obviously he won't have given up aspirations on the victory today. Keep pushing on and hope that with 11 laps remaining, 10.5 as things stand.
Loads of fries
for the riders up front. They've pushed hard in these early laps. The fact that they're in the 35s every lap, that's new territory. No one's done that so far in Moto2, so there could be a slight drop in their performance as this race goes on.
Holding it together
We're going
then.
to some tricky racetracks over the next few. But what we've seen in the past couple of seasons is Tony Arbolino seems to deal well with those conditions. He's not in the title battle.
No, he's not.
I would suggest 78 points behind, is it, for Arbolino? I mean, it's got to be a bridge too far for him.
You would have said so.
With 9 riders ahead of you in the championship, expecting them all to fail. But, you know, Arbolino will be strong in the mixed conditions. Yeah,
when you look back to his record, when you turn up in Indonesia, in Thailand, he's always been strong in the hot, humid conditions, and even stronger when there is a little bit of rainfall. Obviously, the Pirelli tyre rack's a little different to the Dunlop he previously enjoyed, but it does seem like it was quite a comfortable transition for him on those wet weather tyres.
Holding it together then, with 10 to go. Still the same top 3 leading at the front. They're not differentiating anywhere near what we thought they would be. They're just sort of keeping it nice and cool together. I was expecting more, oh my goodness me, it's a big one, but they are really sort of just holding it together. Ayagura in 4th place now, is 2.7 back to this little gaggle of riders in the front, man, in 1, 2 and 3. So I hardly think we're going to see the big punch coming at the front. So that's a shame, but kind of to be expected. They weren't going to find that exit gap the way we wanted it to, and they will hold it together. Arbolino, 0.2 of a second. Vietti holding it in. Aldeguer is closing on Ayagura. So Agura holding back. He's not the championship lead here. He's by, what, 22 points as it stands. Doesn't need to do anything risky. Could just leave it and see where it goes, to be fair. He's got that advantage at the front of the field. 9 to go.
Well, they've been holding up pretty good in Moto2 this year.
Maybe Aldeguer could be the one to make progress today. He was closing in on Agura, as you saw with that graphic before, but he does have a track limits warning hanging over his head. He sits 6th in the championship, 53 behind Agura at the start of this race.
Better for Aldeguer this weekend. He's had what, 3 non-scores, actually 4 whenever you take the 20th in Austria, but the crashes out of long lap loop crash in Catalonia, in Mugello, I can't remember what happened then. Again in Aragon, he had that big crash at the chicane. So yeah, a few moments that probably derailed his championship, but whenever you look at it, he's only 53 points off.
He's not out of it.
He's not out of it.
Not when he won all those races on the bounce at the end of last year. We're going to his territory too. Still Aaron Canet sits there. Haven't seen anyone really out of line. There was a little twitch for Arbolino on that previous lap. Just looking for any marking. Front tyres as well on the right-hand side, perhaps. See them banging against the limiter as they come through Curvone. Still Vietti is keeping close tabs on Arbolino.
Obviously, Vietti in race trim, always strong, but had a bit of a difficult weekend to this point. Well, to qualifying at least, and all of a sudden he just shifted it up a gear, put it in the front row of the grid, and he's looking really strong at this point in the race.
Arbolino's pace just dropped a couple of tenths on that previous lap. Let's have a look again. No, he's back. 35.8 for him, 35.7 for Vietti. Aaron Canet at 35.9. Agura behind 36.1 as Aldeguer is right on his shoulder. And Joe Roberts, 36.6, so maybe his chance has gone away. Good to see Roberts a bit more towards the pointy end this weekend.
Yeah, he's sort of in no man's land at the moment. 3 seconds back on Aldeguer, 2.7 up on Senna Aegis, so a bit of a lonely race. And yeah, solid points. It's been a better weekend for him, but not quite the Joe Roberts we've seen in earlier rounds in this season when he was battling for victories. Did look much more like himself, though. He's getting back on track again. You have to think back to his high side, his crash, the break of the collarbone in Assen, and then the whole psychological aspect of focusing on a MotoGP ride that didn't happen, and then resetting your goals, focusing on the championship at hand, and then resetting his contract with American Racing, knowing that now he can just focus on doing this job in Moto2. So yeah, it's still a long way to go for Joe, and he's still in the hunt. He's a little bit further back than he'd like to be, but yeah, he's still definitely very much in contention.
Tony Arbolino hangs on, but Vietti's looking stronger and stronger as this race goes on here. He's all over the back of his compatriot now, and I wonder, it surely can't be too long before Vietti pulls the pin here. If he does so, this race will light up, I guarantee it, because Arbolino will not want to give up the possibility of a first win of the season. He hadn't had a podium until Aragon, and now he's had 2 on the bounce. He wants to make it 3 on the spin as Vietti lines it up into turn 2, but it's not to be. It's coming.
Yeah, thought about it there into turn 2, but it was from a little too far back. There would have been contact, and obviously, you know, Arbolino's a fighter. You don't want to fire him up with 7 laps to go because it could be a dogfight all the way to the end. Celestino just keeping his powder dry that time around, but a little dress rehearsal. He knows he's got that one in his pocket.
Fastest of the front 3 on that last lap, Michael. Aaron
Yeah, the start's close up now.
In third. Do not rule out the Spanish rider. Had that taste of victory in Portugal, not being able to sample it again, but maybe, just maybe, on the Italian territory, he can come up with the goods. Down towards Tremonto, 6.5 to go.
Yeah, it's difficult to call because there's parts of the racetrack where Canet looks like he loses a little bit of contact. Then other parts, especially the last 2 corners, he's right on the rear wheel of Celestino Vietti. So, yeah, a little bit of the yo-yo effect around the lap.
This is where Vietti looks strong for me. Through Curvone, just watch the gap from the helicopter. Does it close up significantly? They can see just that little bit of a tighter line, and he eats up the ground, doesn't he, on Arbolino? Yeah. I think he tried turn 2, but that might be an option in a couple of laps. If he can just maybe through Tremonto get that bit closer.
Vietti nearly got his leg off the foot
What
peg.
is it about those VR46 Academy boys and running through Curvone? It's got to be just track knowledge. They've put so many laps in around here that they're at one with the turn and how to approach it and how to set the bike and cam it and really drive through there. Vietti just looks like his... oh, I thought he was going for it again there.
Oh, and he switches again! Oh, and he's let Canet through! I said Vietti had problems, and he just twitched. He twitched coming into Mazzano, and he's twitched coming out of the opening 2 corners as well. Vietti really not happy with the front end of that bike. He can't get it stopped. He turned down 2 gears, the bike chugged, turned down a third and almost spat him off. And that's put Aaron Canet back up to 2nd position. The gap between Canet and Albolino is half a second as it stands. So that's a big relief for Arbolino with 6 to go. Let's see if they can all keep it together. Really dramatic action zone. Let's take a look at it. So into the turn 1, you can see the bike's twitching. Tries stepping up into 2, and it just doesn't work as it turns over, Michael.
I was thinking about it again, going a little bit wide. Then as he pulls it back, listen to it on the onboard. Yeah. It didn't sound like he ended up in a neutral there. So
Not at all, no.
yeah, I think he just maybe pulled up awkwardly on the lever. You can actually lift the suspension when you do that with your foot, and he just pulled a little bit too hard and upset the bike, caused the twitch.
So a different proposal here for Tony Arbolino. It's Aaron Canet you've got to keep at bay now. Arbolino has been hitting his marks every single lap.
Yeah, not dropped out of the 35s at all, I don't think. He's been so consistent. And when you know on your pit board you've got +0, group of 3, you can see +2.6 back to Ayagura on Celestino Vietti's board. But yeah, for Tony Arbolino, he's got group of 3, knows that he can hear 2 riders. He'll have had the signals that it is the number 44 and the number 13 of Aaron Canet and Celestino Vietti. So he's responded to the pressure so well, he's hitting every single marker.
Holding it together.
The number 14 for the Mark VDS team leads. Can he deliver their first win of the season? It's been a fairly barren year for them. One of the most dominant teams in Moto2. This will be... Ooh,
Look at it twitching now.
Sketchy there, dropping down to La Quercia, brings it back round, but we're starting to see, aren't we, Michael? Starting to see the first shapes being thrown by the riders as their tyres start to wear.
Yeah, Aaron was hard on the brakes, the amount of flies down at Tremonto, but yeah, you can see that it is the part of the racetrack where I've noticed throughout the race Aaron does struggle to stay in contact with both Celestino Vietti and Tony Arbolino. It's his weaker part, and I think he tried to match him on the brakes, got a little bit loose, the rear did come round and then kicked back and caused the bike to bobble a little bit, but on this part of the racetrack he claws it all back in, and this is where Celestino's strong as well on the run through the fast right-handers, but Aaron's maybe a little bit better through these 2 lefts.
2 lefts make a right.
It is bubbling up nicely, this one. Vietti has regained his composure.
4 to go.
And he's back there in 3rd. Cross the line, 4 to go when they do so. Still Arbolino under the 136 bracket. Still the pair behind him are quicker. Agura and Aldeguer also underneath the 136s. They're battling for 4th place. Doesn't look like a podium for either of the Bosco-Oscuro bikes today, but important points as regards the championship. Cloud comes overhead, but don't worry, I don't think there's any rain in the forecast today, as Tony Arbolino cuts the inside curve through at turn 6 and leads them down through the kink of 7 into La Quercia, turn 8. Right, where does Canet do it, Michael?
I think it has to be either the move into Caro Corner into turn 14 using the fast corner speed on approach, or like Celestino Vietti was trying to set up, running around the outside of turn 1 and pinching the line into turn 2. But yeah, I'm not sure if that one's a strong move for a Canet. I think it's got to be through these fast corners.
I've got a feeling Vietti's lining something up here. The way he just seems to get that wider line, the drive through Tremonto. Look at him in behind Canet now. Oh, he got very tight, high on the curbs to the edge of the racetrack there. That maybe stymied his efforts of getting through. Oh, it's been a mistake.
Oh no, Arbolino's lost out of the front. This is unbelievable stuff coming through. So now we've got a bat to the front, and into the lead goes Justino Vietti. Aaron Canet takes 2nd position. Canet's going to go off the inside line, coming into Mazzano. Canet's got the lead back. Oh, Vietti with another bike twitch. It's like a buckaroo coming in the last corner. That's put Arbolino back into 2nd position. Unbelievable couple of corners there. Wow. Unbelievable couple of corners for Moto3 to try and get that back into contention. Literally, Arbolino makes one mistake, through goes Canet, and then Vietti tries, and the bike just buckles again. The front end is not screwed on at all. What an amazing couple of positions as we head down the back stretch. Aaron Canet trying to look around the outside to keep his defensive strategy to Tony Arbolino. 3 laps to go then here in Mazzano. through into Chamonte. Holding it through. We're looking all the top two close together. The flies are ridiculous for this part of the circuit as well. You really do sense an opportunity that they're all going to sort of swoop in on you. Into Calvone. Throwing the bikes in. Canet has the advantage here, but Albuino is so much late on the brakes, he can almost sense an opportunity to dive bomb. He's going to go for it. Thinks about it. Nothing going to happen there to turn 14, 15 and 16 coming up. Mazzano, the last corner. Albuino wants this race lead back. He already got lucky, he didn't lose out completely and crash. Won't be surprised if Vietti went down, you know. That bike does not look stable. He's now going to be overriding on these next 2 laps. Albuino looks down to turn 1 and his front end lifts up. Just one mistake. So they're going to have a huge accident here. Canet back in the front. Pole sitter now leading again. Tony Albuino wants it back into 4 and 5. Canet drifts it out, keeps the advantage, but he's put that toe up to Tony Albuino. Little twitch there from Canet through 7, down to turn 8. Albuino's going to look for the move. He pulls to the inside line. Last of the 8 breakers down into turn 8. Albuino retakes the lead of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Canet can do nothing about it. He's tried. It hasn't worked. Just too far out. Well, this is changing the order. And Canet's gone right back up the inside of turn 11. And now down towards Calvone. They're side by side. Albuino gets back ahead. Canet tried and failed to get back through. Outstanding bit of workmanship between these two. They are doing everything together. Down we go again. Don't touch the green. Into 14. Vietti closing in. The gap now half a second between them. Oh, and Vietti's leg coming off as well. Just getting it right. They're all back together again then. One more lap of the Moto2 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Over the line. Fabio Quartararo watching this. Into the first corner. Albuino in clearly. So is Canet. Vietti has rejoined the battle. Canet clips the curb. Had a bit of a jump on the bike. Vietti's kept with him. Albuino's going to have to go defensive down towards turn 8. Oh, and Philip Salak's up to 10th. Got ahead of Manuel Gonzalez. Not bad there. Out, down towards turn 8 then. Albuino knows he has to go defensive. Canet's going to have the slipstream. Not going to go for it though. Albuino goes in a bit too deep. He expected a dive bomb for Aaron Canet, but that's going to give Canet the advantage through 9 and 10. Into 9. Chamonte at turn 10. Vietti's looking at the inside. 3-way fight. Albuino's having to sit the bike up. Albuino's bike not looking too steady. Down to Calvone. Canet's almost backed off. The gap 0.3 of a second. Canet had a terrible exit. Vietti might take second position here. Albuino's still going to be in the fight. Vietti's going to send it down the inside in turn 13. No. Oh, Albuino's gone wide. Albuino's outbraked himself. Aaron Canet takes the lead. Albuino makes the mistake. Aaron Canet leads. Justino Vietti's right there. It's a fight to the line. Canet turns into Mazzano. Goes too wide. It's a drag race towards the line. Vietti's on the outside. It's a photo finish. 29 thousandths of a second. Justino Vietti wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Drama in the last corner. Albuino runs it deep at 14. Canet had the advantage at 15. And Giorgia, the lucky MotoGP fan who's got the flag waving, has just called a classic end. Vietti, from a bouncing buckaroo to a magnificent win at Mazzano. Fantastic, 29 thousandths at the end. You don't see many like that anymore. And certainly not in Moto2. Vietti got the run on the outside line and took race victory. Fantastic! What a run! Vietti picked up 25 points in a race win. Aaron Canet second. Third for Tony Arbolino. Fourth, Ayagura. Fifth, Ferdinand de Geer. Joe Roberts sixth. Senna Iger seventh. Marcos Ramirez eighth. Alonso Lopez ninth. Philip Salakis 10th. Manuel Gonzalez, Dennis Foggia, Isaac Guevara, Sonkat Chantra, and Jeremy Kirby last points position. But it's into the last corner and a slipstream run round the outside, keeping it on the green, on the tarmac, off the green. 29 thousandths, race win. Oh, that was fantastic. What a Moto2 race that was. Did not expect that at all. Cestino Vietti round the outside at Mazzano takes victory. Fantastic. Well, it's a triple header for Moto2 and Moto3. Next up, it's the Indonesia Grand Prix. You can join us for that in 7 days' time. JBMotorsports will have all the action for MotoGP's race, so click the link in the description to the main channel or just search JB Motorsports on YouTube and you'll find where you need to be. We'll see you in about an hour's time. Bye-bye.